I'm eating a jelly baby first. Welcome to this week's Weaving Web3 with me, James.
Me, Chris.
And me, Stash.
Today, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite NFT projects because me, an NFT virgin, has decided to dip his toe into a project for the first time. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but I've learned an awful lot, although I've been bugging Chris and Stash most of the week, sending them late night texts, like, is this a good buy? What does this mean? What's a trait? But I've learned a lot now, and hopefully it's a little bit better off. So I'm just going to tell people that the project I decided to pick up when I was laid in bed on a Friday night at probably midnight. I was on OpenSea and I was just looking through trending, being like, what are these new releases? Stash and Chris have told me before, like, there's this thing called a mint. It's not a sweet. It's when NFTs get released. They come out cheap and then they skyrocket and then fun things happen and there's a pre-reveal and then the pictures get revealed. So I'm going to talk through that process, hopefully in enough detail that it's not boring for people who know what it is, but simple enough, like I am, where people who are new can get an idea of how that sort of functions. So I had a look and there was an NFT project called Fun Apes. Now, Fun Apes, as I've learned from these boys, is sort of a spin-off. There are lots of ape NFTs that are all spin-offs of Bored Ape Yacht Club, not Bored Yacht Ape Club, as I kept saying last week.
Yeah, that was hard trying to edit around that.
I know what it's called, but in my head I was just like, it's bored yachts, just big boring yachts.
Yeah, bored yachts with some apes.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, obviously we know that you associate yourself a lot with fun apes, right? You feel like you are a fun ape yourself.
Exactly. I'm a massive fun ape
project.
But no, so I saw it and the prices were good. There was like, I say good, it was like 0.02 ETH. And I was like, okay, so that's like 30-40 quid. Because this was before the pump that we've seen. So it wasn't, yeah, I don't know what it was worth now, but it was like 30-40 quid. And I saw it and I was like, well, do I buy one? And I sort of put a message into that to the boys, surprisingly, at midnight. Well, Chris is normally awake, to be honest with you, but sort of didn't get any traction. And I was like, oh, I'll just leave it. So then in the morning, it was at 0.08 ETH, sorry. And I was like, if I'd have bought that, I could have quadrupled my money. But I didn't kick myself. And I just decided to follow along and see what happened. So with this NFT project, seems to be the same with a lot of NFT projects, there is a mint. So a mint is normally where the person who's created the project raises initial funds, and they do this by selling their token normally for quite a low price. Would that be fair to say, boys?
Yep, that's probably true.
Yeah, but they do it exclusively. So you either need to be friends with someone, like Stash is a little whitelist hound. So he's always on Twitter, looking around, looking for people who can put him on whitelists, and whitelists are essentially the way you can purchase an NFT at mint.
Well, it depends. It depends. They normally do a certain number of whitelists. So, like, let's say, I don't know, if you've got a project of 10,000, they'll do like 3,000 whitelists, and then the rest are public, but it's like first come, first served. And that's where, as we said, the sort of gas wars.
Yeah, and that's the big people that people will complain. Sometimes you'll pay twice over with the gas what the initial mint price is, but you're betting on potentially it's going to be hyped up a good ump in the market, or you're going to get a rare one. When you get a rare one, as you're going to mention later on, you may
you'll see this week when the new Board Your Ape Club.
Oh, fantastic! Board Your Ape Club, yeah.
Yeah, when the new Board Your Ape Club NFT releases, because they're doing like a release this week, you'll see gas on that is going to be insane. Like I would recommend when it drops, like I'll message the chat and we can all sort of watch and see, because it's going to be worth a lot.
We can cry in paw at these people who can spend that money.
It's not just buying NFTs, it's like doing normal transaction, because the whole network is shared.
Yeah,
even if you want to do a swap, let's say on Uniswap, like 50 quid was worth, the gas is probably going to be like 300 quid. So you're like,
it's actually probably a really good time to explain to people how gas works. So the way I like to think about it is there's the motorway with 4 lanes, for example, and normally it's fine. But if there's a concert on somewhere or there's something big happening, loads of cars flood it. But in the gas terms, you can pay more to go in an exclusive fast lane. So people do that, and they're all paying more to try and get in that exclusive fast lane to get to the NFTs first, to get to the concert first, get the good seats. Would that be a fair way of describing it?
Yeah, basically the fast track lane of Heathrow Airport, basically, as well.
The only way Stash flies. Private, well, he's private jetting it. They doesn't need
Oh, yeah, exactly. He's got his buddy
50.
Trump in. Yeah, he's got his buddy Trump's private jet going,
You know me.
But yeah, so that initial mint happens, and you've got things called whitelist, like you guys said, and then you've also got a public mint as well, where you said the gas is higher. And the idea of the whitelist is you don't get shafted with all the gas, do you? Because you get to go in before.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes as well, you may have like a discounted price, or you get to mint an extra one. Sometimes mints are capped at, I don't know, 1, 2, but it's unlimited for the public mints and stuff like that.
I remember, I remember trying to get whitelist for the Pixelverse, which is like a Sappy Seals sort of universe sort of thing. But yeah, I really wanted a Pixelverse egg, and I tweeted at the founder or the owner, I think every day for about 30 days, and he liked every single one of my tweets and never gave me whitelist.
You haven't got enough followers. That's the problem.
Because the thing is, like the mint was something like a 0.03 or 0.04 or something like that. I ended up spending 0.3, like 10 times up. Yeah. It is what it is, I guess.
But no, so if I'll come back to the Fun Ape. So I hadn't hit the mint because of the point where it's up on OpenSea, the mint's done. If a project's got some hype, isn't it? And so what happened then is the mint happens, and they minted for I think 0.015. No, less than that, 0.0015.
What? Really?
Right. It was properly cheap. Let me double check before I spew a load of rubbish.
Picture here.
Mint was 0.015 ETH. Right.
0.015. Okay.
0.015.
Yeah.
So what's that, boys? Like 10 quid?
Yeah.
50 quid?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot. And then what happened was I saw the graph do this. As people started listing them, so some people who've got them for 0.015 would list them at 0.1 or 0.15 and go, I can 10x my gain. And then they were selling. And then they were selling, and then they were selling, and then they were selling.
Yeah.
So I saw it gradually go up. So it came in at 0.015, and then you saw them go to like 0.02, 0.03, 0.0. I think all went all the way up to 0.1 at the top. And then it was I'm assuming it's pretty typical for NFT projects, up and up and up and up. And then people got to 0.1, which apparently was some sort of mental thing, and decided, nope, that's too much. And then it started coming down.
Yeah.
And what I thought was really interesting was it settled at like 0.6, 0.7. It would fluctuate around there, but it didn't ever go much higher or lower than that. And that was until the initial reveal. So this project was a little bit different in that they released their 7 ultra rares, their one of ones first. So there was a build up then, and then prices went back up to like 0.1, 0.12 in the anticipation of that reveal. And then those got revealed, and then the price dropped to like 0.05, and then stayed there until there was a slight pump on reveal, the actual full reveal, at which point it's now at 0.03, I think, or 0.02.
It's and still really above the mint price of then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing is, I was like, well, if you've minted, you can still have doubled your money.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Like the new floor is still double the mint price.
Yeah.
And you think, like, who are these people that were selling on mint then? But then sometimes I'm assuming that's the best price you'll ever get.
Yeah, that's what some people are in for the game. It depends what mentality you have. Like some people, you get the mint, you just sell it all, and then you have your profits. Because sometimes it's just gambling. People, you don't know whether it's going to go up, how much by. So like for some people, you might be, okay, a 2x is fine. Then you take that pot into your next mint, next whitelist, you do that, and you do it gradually. Or some people might.
It's like any sort of trading, right? You've got to be like, you've got to think in advance what profit you're okay with. If you approach NFTs rather than for the project, for the art or the project, for the trading value, then you're going to be like, okay, I'm all right making 2 times my money, right? I'll sell at that point. And you can't regret those decisions, right?
do a lot of people then, for example, okay, let's say there's a project with 10,000, right? And I get whitelisted, I can have 5. Do a lot of people sell, say, 2 and get their money back and then essentially have 3 free NFTs?
Essentially,
I
yeah,
mean?
you could look at it like that. Like,
Essentially,
when I invest in certain cryptos, I'll be like, I'll let it rise, take my initial investment out, then let that ride, and then just see where it goes, you know?
Yeah, that's
the always keep one, because you may get those, you might need those benefits wherever they are. They might have some access to some Discord or whatever. That's what I would.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating, and it was what I thought was really interesting was that there was a massive dip in the middle of this, and I woke up and I looked on the Discord, and they'd lost control of the dev. The dev had gone absolutely silent, and the entire Discord was screaming rug pull. And I sent you boys a message in the morning. Of everyone was just panicked, like, and the guy owning it was like, "No, it's not a rug pull. Something's happened. We don't know. He doesn't live in our country. We're gonna find out." And the guy essentially put, like, he'd had a family situation had come up. He'd had to go and sort it. He was not dealing with the project, but everyone was so panicked that the price just plummeted. And that was really interesting as well, because you guys have always talked about, like, the rug pulls, and it's amazing to see how quickly the panic sets in. Like, people were...
How quickly the FOMO, the initial FOMO goes in, and then how quickly the panic sets in.
It was literally like a day ago, this was like 300 quid or whatever. I'm making those numbers. It's not as high as that, but like 200 quid. And then like 6 hours later, it was like, oh, it's half that price, because they couldn't find the dev and they're all panicking. And it's like, it's fascinating for me, like, sort of how many people are spending hundreds of pounds on a picture and they've got no faith in, because this is the problem with the whole decentralized bit, is you just have to trust. And it's so bizarre to me that, like, blockchains were built so that you could do trust, and everyone is untrusting. Everyone's like, I don't trust these people a mile. I don't trust what they're doing. But everyone's sort of out to try and make some money. The whole thing is fascinating to me. And although I didn't buy one, I was going on like I'd bought one because I was just interested. And I think I'll keep an eye out for some other projects in future. But like, after the reveal, the art it's not for me. It's not my style of art, but some people might like it. It's a bit
just see how it is. I've never actually looked at. I know you guys said it's a bit like, ugh.
Oh, I'll share. Right, let's do.
Is it like Trump bad that it's just literally stock photos?
No,
it's not quite like that.
No,
it's clearly like a copy of Bored Apes, right?
Oh, they're animated, which is
they are GIFs, and that's the thing. Like, they're not. This isn't, and they'll come back to these high prices as well. So,
10,000
No, but like this one here though actually did sell for 3 ETH.
Yeah.
So like,
because that's a legendary, isn't it?
And this one here for 2.8, which is a legendary as well. These are the one of ones. But you think that, and that one there as well, that sold for 4 ETH.
So that guy's very happy. I mean, that guy put in 0.015.
Well, should we see what this guy paid for it? Let's have a look. So he paid 0.08
initially. That was probably pre-reveal.
So yeah, this guy here who minted it, he could have had 4 ETH if he'd held it, if he hadn't paper handed. But he was, like you said, Chris, he was happy with a 5x. I've used paper handed wrong again. he was happy with a 5 times gain, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a 4 times profit there.
This guy in the middle
guy sold it again.
Yeah, absolutely. At which point this guy won. And it's amazing, isn't it? Because the chances are like 1 in 10,000 of that being you, though.
Yeah.
Or 7 in 10,000 in this collection, because I think they did 7 one-of-ones. But it's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty. Like, you think about it, you're like, fuck, imagine being that guy. How lucky are you?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Like, it blew my mind though that essentially these projects release, and this one's like unique selling point is that they did like a tweet to reveal.
Yeah.
So they said we need to have, I think it was like 7,500 tweets to reveal the 7 of 7. But the problem was, and this is part of the issue where everyone thought it was a rug pull. Do you know what they set their tweets to for a 10,000 NFT collection to reveal? Any guess of how many tweets they wanted in a 6-hour period?
In a 6-hour period?
How many tweets?
Yeah, well. So the whole idea, Chris, I think, is to get it onto Twitter's trending. 10, the whole idea is to tweet, and builds up, and then people retweet, and people get interested, it pumps the price.
It pumps the price, and then, and
so
then they're like, bye-bye.
So that's the idea. Now I'm not saying that they were buying, but like the idea from them, I think, is how can we maintain a price and maintain sort of presence, and they're doing it by they will also be incentivizing and paying out people who tweet the most about the project. So they're really trying to get people to endorse it and talk about it all the time to then get rewards.
So you said they needed 7,000 to reveal the initial.
So 7,500 within 6 hours to reveal the initial 7 of 7, right? Okay. But that's doable, isn't it? That's not. Some people are going to
from a Twitter with 15K followers.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's doable.
How many did they set in a 6 hour period for that same Twitter to reveal the whole rest of the collection?
10K.
20.
45,000.
Wow.
45,000.
And then, surprisingly, lads, didn't happen, did it?
Yeah.
But at the end of 5 hours of people tweeting, they were like, guys, we've all said like 10 tweets here, because not everyone's going to do it. Like, not everyone on the project's going to do it. So they were like, some people have been tweeting 10, 15, 20 times. And like, what am I supposed to do to get this reveal? And then they just had to say, okay, we're not doing that. And I think to me, like, you've got greedy. You've set a target that was not achievable.
Yeah.
For your project at all.
I mean, 3 times the amount of followers that you have.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, for every follower you have, you want them to tweet 3 times.
But I think it was about getting on Twitter's trending. That's what the whole thing was. And that's why they set a 6 hour period as well, because it all needs to be short and sharp, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We can't have 45,000 tweets over a week. We need them now.
Yeah.
And I think it's backfired on them because it makes you look silly. Because if you just I bet they probably reached like 25,000 tweets, but also it sort of demoralized the people, and a lot of people then thought it was a rug pull because they hit the 6 hours and they're like, "Well, reveal them then." At which point they went, "Oh, we don't know where the dev is."
Because that's literally the worst thing anyone could say.
I know. It was literally like, I don't know if they'd hard coded in, because they had an API page linked to the Twitter. I think they had a smart contract linked to the 45,000. So it should have auto revealed. But because they didn't hit it, the auto reveal didn't work. And then the dev wasn't there.
Yeah.
They couldn't get him to change it. Now, he might have had a family circumstance or was just like, well, I'm not needed. But I think because they set it so high, they sort of shot themselves in the foot.
During the reveal period, right? Anything can go wrong. That's when you need the team, right? Like a week later, maybe you don't need him, sort of thing around. Maybe and still, like, I feel like I can message any one of you, maybe not past like 11 p.m. But like, I feel like any part of the day, I can send you a message and you can reply to me. Yeah. At least just to say, oh, sorry, I'm busy or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
Like, it sounds very unorganized and like these people don't really know each other. They're just
that's exactly what it is, though, isn't it? Like I think they said in the Discord they got him from Free Flow, which is like an online finder dev, but he had like a decent portfolio. And to be fair to the dev, like he hasn't rug pulled. He didn't actually do anything bad. But it's also like you're putting a lot of faith in someone, particularly if you think about, right, if I just have a look on their thing. So they did 651 ETH in total volume.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cash.
What's their percentage take?
7.5.
Okay. So 7.5 of 650 ETH is let me get my calculator up.
We'll cut this.
Yeah, cut this. 650
48 ETH. 49 ETH, something like that.
45 ETH.
There you go.
That's 45.5 ETH.
Plus, they minted for 0.015, times that by 9,500, whatever. That's probably 141 ETH.
Mad.
141 ETH, and ETH is currently £1,339. So 100. Wait, what did we say? 141.
It's going to be almost 200 ETH. So you think that this project will have, in a 7-day period, generated these guys probably £250,000.
Wow.
Right? If you think about it in those terms, right? You've got to be available.
£267,000.
There you go. So this is, and that's what's wild, isn't it? Is you need to be available, because I don't know how many people work on this project, but it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy numbers.
And you're talking about something with questionable art as well.
Right, Chris, it's not for your taste, that's fine. But then again, right, this is the thing with NFTs. I don't think the art actually matters that much, weirdly. Like, if you think about it, like Sappy Seals, they're like, the art is
Great
not
art, amazing art.
Uh-oh, here we go.
You're telling me, right? If before it was an NFT, you saw it in a gallery, you'd have gone, "Oh my god, it's the Mona Lisa." This is a Rembrandt. Oh, it's stunning. No, you'd have gone, "That's a fat penguin." Or a seal, or like
seal. There are penguins
in the name,
well,
isn't it? In the name, the sappy penguins and the fuzzy seals.
I literally tell my friends that I own a sappy seal, and they laugh at me. Like,
oh, poor man!
And then I tell them that it's worth like 1,500 quid, and they're like, "Sell it, man! What the hell are you doing?"
You're like, no, it'll be worth 7 times that soon.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen? Have you watched season 24 of South Park?
No, not yet.
I watched.
Right.
Wait, is that the newest season?
I don't, it's the newest or almost the newest.
I've seen most of South Park. Yeah.
They have an episode where they go into the future and Butters is an NFT trader.
Yes.
and he's like the biggest murderer in the world. Like, he's evil. Like, and he goes around and like people are like, "I've lost my wife and my family, but it's all good. I've got this little picture of a donkey." Like, and that's where I think when people talk about NFTs, it's so true. It's so funny. But yeah, right. So that was my experience with the Fun Apes. And I thought, that it was really useful to learn and sort of see it all go through. And I think now I would be a lot happier with like buying an NFT. And like, although I didn't buy one, I did set up my MetaMask and like linked it with OpenSea and saw how that all worked. And like
in it and everything.
And I showed to like Chris and Stash. I like went to pay for like something, didn't I? And I was showing you like how high the gas fees were. So I sort of got an understanding of that as well. So
well, James, you're not the only one that's bought an NFT this week.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Well, Stash, but also
the Weaving Web3 podcast
together.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Don't tell the wife. Do not tell the wife. Yeah. So, no, I'm joking. She's
not your wife yet.
She's not one of the 6 people that watches this. We'll be fine.
But yeah, we bought into Karafuru. Do you want to tell us a little bit, Stash?
Well, I'm not the expert. Like I could tell the only fact that I know about it is that I won a whitelist for it, but I never bought it because I couldn't afford the gas fees because it was too ridiculously expensive, and I was only a poor little goblin. And then when I look back on the prices that they sold for 10 ETH, and I actually learned about them that they had like a whole festival stuff, I was, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's all right. We all are. We all enjoy losing money. So,
but you can explain it more because you're a way bigger fan than I am. But the art is
So I mean, Karafuru, as we all said, it had a festival and everything, and they're these cool little characters. I don't know if I should share my screen.
Yeah, give it a share.
Screen, go for it and show it out.
There we go. Can you see?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're these cool little characters, very colorful and stuff like that. And if we go to activity, as you can see, they were doing like amazing things early last year. Like we're talking 4 ETH average price, 4.5 ETH.
And ETH was high then as well.
That's like
ETH was like, yeah. So we're talking big money. And you mentioned them, Stash, the other day, and I was like, I know Karafuru because a friend of mine has a Karafuru, and then I saw the price and I was like, this is actually affordable now. And you said that you've got this
so I won a subscription to Lunar Crush. So for people that don't know what Lunar Crush is basically an analytics platforms for crypto, NFTs, stocks, Forex, and all that stuff. And basically it analyzes all social medias. So basically it tracks how many people have mentioned this project and like how many people it's reached, impacts and stuff like that. And it has all these different scores. And I've been watching a few projects go up the rankings over time and like all the trends and social mentions. We're like, hang on a second, a lot of these projects that I have followed have shot up because they've been mentioned. And one of them, what I did before Christmas, I was talking about Freelanders, which I'm a big fan of. And that's how I kind of like realized that they were trending. This was before they shot up to like 0.45 ETH for some of them. I was buying them up at 0.11. So And this is all because of like, I was seeing how they were being mentioned more and more on social media, and like seeing like basically interaction. So a lot of the time that causes price fluctuations is social media and having a presence. So the more mentions and more communication people are having is, it's not always, but is an indication that there is something brewing, or you can see like, okay, these projects are being bought up for some reason. So yeah, that's how I kind of...
Yeah, so karafuru was on that list, and I was like, for the price of, what was it, £85 each?
Yeah.
If we all go in on one together, what are we losing out?
Yeah,
It's
and I
already
think that's
above
the kind of like the fun thing that I think we could bring and like have like a little series on, is like how we can buy affordable NFT. We're basically a DAO, but with 3 people. Yeah. This is what other NFT projects do. They'll have like these small, cheap NFT collections pulled together, and they just buy like a...
Should I find a client with some very deep pockets to join our DAO?
Oh yeah, yeah. And we'll be like, yes, we all equally own this. You
all
might
equal.
put 70 grand in it, but
it's just your money and our time, okay?
Exactly. So but yeah, so that's the karafuru. We bought the karafuru all together, and we will probably be buying more as a combined trio, because it's a lot cheaper to do it that way, and we're
much more affordable,
right?
I mean, the only thing I thought was, I don't know why our karafuru had to look like Chris this time. You know, I think the next time we get...
I'm going to post the karafuru on at this point, and
oh my god,
with my offended face next to it.
I think the other project that we had to look at, that Stash was like, boys, buy one of these, it's going up, was old blockalizer.
Oh yes. So basically,
yes.
I you know what? I'm fuming about this, right? Because I had my 0.01 ETH, which was the price when it was there, and I always said to you boys, I was like,
0.1 ETH, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it 0.0?
Sorry. It was 0.1, yeah.
0.1, yeah. I had my 0.1 ETH. I was like, I could do that. Didn't do it because I was like, oh, I don't know, not sure. Like Stash had told us other projects like 3 landers and stuff, you know, they 4x'd after he told us, but I was like, no, I'm not sure. And then in the morning, I said to Chris, it's bloody tripled in price, hasn't it? What am I doing? I just need to listen to the
not
House of
financial
Stash.
advice, but I've had 100% win rate on all my NFT calls that I have from last year. So with you guys, I think.
Also, Stash is definitely getting sued after this for making it.
I'm going to sue him. I'm going to sue him. He doesn't. You know, he tells me these opportunities. He doesn't make me do them. I'm going to sue him. I'm going to sue
him.
Exactly. For every NFT he has.
Oh no!
Give Stash our key phrases to our wallets.
Let's talk about this project. So absolutely. I found this entire project. It's founded by the co-creator of Cool Cats and another guy who works at Coinbase and Microsoft it is. And essentially, I don't remember, last year they said that they're creating their own incubator program called Alpha Labs. I will share my screen and tell you how like this entire story kind of worked out. So here we go, share. So one day I'm just going like blah, 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 thinking I need to follow some really good creators. This is how you find basically the alpha, the get there before everyone else gets there. So one day this guy is like, hey, I'm creating a project with this guy. And I was like, okay, I'll follow it because he's created one of the biggest NFT collections out there. And that's what they said. Silence for a few months, basically. They're building. And then one day they're like, we're releasing an NFT collection called Blockalizer. It's basically their first incubator their first kind of like project. So basically this is a project that turns your transaction history into blocks of art, essentially. So you connect your wallet and you can basically choose a random transaction and you essentially mint it into like either a 3x3 grid, 6x6 grid, or a 12x12 grid. You can either choose 3 colors, 3 different chromas, and whether it's filled in or not, and it has some random shapes and patterns. And I can go on OpenSea, hopefully, and show you what they look like. It's nothing special, but some people may like this. And essentially, this is basically NFT collection to kickstart and fund basically NFT programs and whatever other crypto projects. Right now, they only have 1,000, but they have set up that they can have up to 12,000 of these different types of NFTs, and each release
different generations, right?
Sorry, different generations. Each one's are going to be slightly different in like colors and schematics and whatever. And essentially, this is kind of like a way of basically getting funds to provide money to people that want to start up. And then, yes, 2 days ago, the founder of Cool Cats announced, the co-founder of Cool Cats announced that he's launching an NFT project. And I was just like, hang on a second. I recognize where I followed this, because I was just like, well, who is this Alpha Labs again? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I did my research again. I was like, wow, these guys are offering free allow lists to everyone that holds these blockalizer NFTs. And I was like, this was at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We were chatting because I think you said something about 12 o'clock about this whole NFT. And I was like, damn, look at this. And like, yeah, I bought one. Because this was like, because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, half the world is asleep. So not a lot of people following. And at the time I was following this project, it only had like a few hundred. And today it's at, as you can see, 5,270. So over that initial announcement and hype, the prices went to 0.3, right? And like,
I mean, they were 0.3 in the morning.
Well, that's the thing. If you compare this, right, to the Fun Apes, you see the massive variety that there is available in the NFT space, right? And also how different the ideas are. And this seems like a project that's done well, right? The blockalizer one. It's got less volume, but their price now, their floor price is.
Look how this cute this art is. I love it. This is a little ghosty boy I want. And like, I like this kind of cartoony art. So like, this is like, I want to buy loads of these. Like this, for me, not financial advice, but if you think how well Cool Cats did and like what these kind of people are doing, I went on these guys' LinkedIn and he's a jet. Like he worked with Coinbase and like the dev, like they are legit people. They have all the credentials to back behind. They have a credible history. So there is literally no worries, well, in my opinion, of a rug pull, because these people
they've got a reputation already.
They have a reputation.
They need to upkeep, right? So if he's public, it's like the whole Logan Paul situation that we were talking about or the other day.
Is it quite common for NFT project holders, devs, etc., to dox themselves? Like, for example, if I was going to do an NFT project, I'd perfectly have to be like, this is my name, this is like who I am, this is whatever, not give out my home address or my phone number or whatever, but like be a public person.
I think it instills confidence. Personally, for me, I would trust more and be more like, I've been shot in the head so many times because I just blindly thought this was a people, and you don't know who, like at the end of the day, you want someone to blame if something goes wrong, and they have to take responsibility. Not as bad as it sounds like. It's my fault if I get rug pulled at the end of the day, but I think
Stash will just find you and he will murder you. But apart from that, people will have to pay.
It is definitely something that, as you said, Stash, it sort of helps with confidence in the project, right? Loads of projects are like, there's this massive thing in the NFT space that they don't dox themselves. They are all under their pseudonym or whatever. They just do everything anonymously. And I really, especially like with NFTs, that means, oh, I know that, I don't know, streetboy.eth rug pulls me. Like, what does that tell me?
You can get rug pulled by the same guy 15 times.
Exactly. Like, and that guy can just change his pseudonym and rug pull, and like talk in a different way, or like it's really
that is exactly what it's what con men do, though.
Yeah.
And the NFT space welcomes it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a bit. I don't know if people, as an accountant, I'm like, do people do it for tax reasons? Like, are they making 100 odd ETH, right? And they don't want the government that they live in to know that they've made that money? Or do you know what I mean? Like, keep it under the radar? Do they want family and friends to know? Is it like, look,
potentially, because you could have that 100 ETH, right, in your I don't know, keep it in your crypto.com account, or whatever.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard.
No one's gonna kind of know really unless you disclose that.
There are, like, we discussed money laundering before, but like, it's so easy to set yourself up with like Chris, you're a businessman. You've got your own.
I say, Chris, you're a money launderer.
Chris, you love no, but like, right, but you run a business, Chris, right?
Yeah.
Or well, freelance.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Right.
So I am a business. I don't. Yeah.
No, but that's, you know, there is a business. You don't employ people or whatever, but fine. But like, it would be so easy if you had all this crypto money to, like, I tell you what, I was speaking to a client today, and he said, I've spoken to lots of accountants, and a lot of my friends just tell the accountant what their gains are in the year, and that's it. And he's like, whereas you guys go through and you look at the blockchain and you look at my transactions and bring it all together and make sure we've got all the right stuff. There are so many finance professionals are not au fait enough with blockchain technology to know if their client is lying to them or not. Yeah. I'm not saying all of us. There are a few really good companies that do know what they're talking about, but a lot of people have got no concept, and you could pull the wool over your financial advisor or your accountant or whatever's eyes so easily because they don't understand it. All you do is you could put little bits into a wallet and just go, oh, this is my wallet. Oh, where does that come from? Oh, that came from, like, I sold something. You could have all the ETH you want, just send little bits in and get them to report that on your taxes.
Yeah.
It's the space isn't set up for it yet. And I think a lot of people with the anonymity maybe do it because it benefits them financially and socially. And at the end of the day, like we said, like the Fun Apes and Blockalizer, they've both raised hundreds of thousands of pounds. And granted,
just like that, within weeks.
Right? Do you think they've paid tax on it? I don't think so. I feel like a lot of these projects, because that's one thing I heard about a lot.
Depends where you live. Okay. So obviously some places, like, for example, the UAE is super
it's tax-free, so they would have been like,
tax-free-ish, but yeah, it's super low taxes. And like, for example, Portugal doesn't tax crypto gains. But
I guess that's what we're moving to, guys.
See, this is the problem, right? And this is a bit inside baseball, a bit boring, right? Is creating art and selling it in the blockchain a crypto gain? Because I don't think it is. It's the same as you've made art and you've sold it for euros. The currency you're taking is on the blockchain, but it's just an art business.
Yeah.
And that's where you get problems, is that people will go, I don't need to pay tax on it. It's just crypto stuff. And it's like, well, that's not how the government would see it. If the government saw you made £1 million selling NFTs, they go, well, you owe us taxes on £1 million of NFT sales. And that's where you get problems, is that the government's not really set up to monitor that yet. But you bet by the time they'll come after people who haven't done it.
Yeah.
And that's where you get problems, is that you need to be proactive, I think, and just keep on top of those bits, because otherwise you will get stung at some point. I think particularly for individuals as well, I would just say with like NFT sales and stuff, and I'll hammer this later on in the years, etc. Just be really aware if you live in the UK that your annual exemption allowance on your capital gains is reducing significantly. It's halving and in 2023, and then it's halving again in 2025. So it'll be down to £3,000 of gains you're allowed to make before you get taxed. That is not a large amount of money. It's like 12,300 now, then 6,000, then 3,000. You just need to be really aware of it. And I'd say to these boys, I'd say it to everyone at home, do your crypto gains as you go. Please be aware of what you potentially have to pay.
I mean, here's the thing, James. If anyone's like us and just enjoys losing money at the end of the day,
then what they should do, Chris, is crystallize their losses, and then they can set them off against future gains.
That's a good idea. I'm probably at like 100,000 by now.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I'm like, I'm never gonna have to pay tax in my life.
Exactly.
Not financial advice, but like, if you bought like a token that got rug pulled. So say you paid 10 grand for it and it's now worth nothing.
Yeah.
You can essentially crystallize that loss by saying this is lost, and you get to bring it into your tax year. You don't just have because you can set it off against your gains. So you're not limited to just having I've just lost 10 grand. You can actually use that to help you offset gains and things. So, but people need to be aware of this to be legitimate in the system. So you're not always punished by HMRC.
Also, some really important advice: if an NFT project is funded money that's been used from Tornado Cash, you can probably bet you potentially could be a rug pull. Because Tornado Cash, a lot of people, Tornado Cash before it made legal, basically Tornado Cash is a mixer where it mixes loads of transactions and you can't tell where that money's gone from who and what wallet. So essentially a lot of America, they passed some law and basically they made every single, like, let's say big decentralized exchange that's based in the US, any account that's had any money from, or wallets that had money from Tornado Cash weren't allowed, have been like blacklisted, so you can't use certain websites and stuff like that. So I forgot, I was reading an article recently, there was a project that was funded by Tornado Cash and it obviously rug pulled because that money was untraceable. It created a project that was untraceable, where they didn't know where their origin money came from, and unfortunately, if you don't do your research, you get shot in the foot. I wasn't like a rug pull, but I was just thinking, like, they were saying
Stash was rug pulling again.
a serial rug puller.
You're yanking those floor coverings away. You love
it. Professional floor yanker.
I've heard a lot of people calling Stash a yanker, but I didn't think that's actually the word they were using. Anyway, right, I think that was our little meander around some NFTs. And I mean, I talked about Fun Apes, which I thought was quite good to follow along with. And I think if anyone was interested in NFTs, just follow one and just see, like, find out what it mints and follow it and just see how it goes. And it could be a good one or it could be a rubbish one. Stash is going to say something in a minute.
But you just, like, if for what you're saying, follow this project above my head right now, the Ghost one. Yeah, by the Cool Cats. And I think that would be the perfect project to follow if you're a newbie. It's really just at the very beginning, and it's something from like a legitimate founders, and you can see how real people that have a good background in NFTs and technology do a real good NFT project. So
and also follow this as well. Our Twitter. Right?
Our Twitter. Oh, yeah.
Even Web3 Twitter. Got to do some self-promotion. Can't just promote other projects.
That's very true.
Where would you like me to point? Where can I point?
I don't know. Just at yourself.
Follow me. Follow me.
That was the saddest follow me I think I've ever heard.
Why? My heart wasn't in it. Right. What? Stash.
Yes.
Do you have a sweet treat? Or are we...
Unfortunately, no sweet treats today because I was
just yourself.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So well, that's it then. On that horrible note, the pick me. No, there's no sweet treats. That has been this week's Weaving Web3 with me, James.
Me, Chris.
Me, Stash.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Love that.
What a bum.